All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to No Filter MMA. This is your boy BJ back with another video short, guys. So, it's late night. I'm sitting here thinking, you know what I'm saying, thinking about the fight game, thinking about, I'm like, I got to put some content out. So, what should I talk about? I do want to talk about some flyweights, guys. Like, we've been talking about how this new wave of flyweights have been coming through, like Karine Silva, Natalia Silva, Manon Fior, Aaron Blanchfield, Casey O'Neill, Macy, not Macy, but, you know, Casey O'Neill, etc. These fighters that are this new breed of fighters that are coming up through the division, you know what I'm saying, and making their way to the top. These fighters are ranked or either should be ranked. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely, for sure, all of those fighters I just named should be ranked. But I want to talk about a couple. I wanted to point out a couple of flyweights who are kind of from the old crop. You know what I'm saying? A couple of veterans that have, you know what I'm saying, looks like they're trying to get their shit together. Like they're really working on their skill sets, and they're really going out here and trying to win fights. Actually, I want to talk about three of them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to talk about three flyweights who are actually looking, that in their last three fights, which have all been, the last three fights that these three fighters have fought have all been victories, and we've all seen major improvements in all three of these fighters. So I want to talk about these fighters real quick, guys. So y'all just kind of follow along here. This is not a quick video. This was gonna be a few minutes. The first one, of course, that I want to talk about JJ Aldrich. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about JJ Aldrich for a second because we've seen JJ Aldrich do well in fights. We've seen JJ Aldrich, you know what I'm saying, when she's doing well, then we see her lose. You know what I'm saying? We've seen JJ Aldrich kind of, not be looking to finish a fight, not looking to put the pace on people. You know what I'm saying? We've seen JJ kind of play it safe in there in the octagon. You know what I'm saying? And she's got some solid wins in there. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? She's got some wins that stand out, like the one over Jillian Robertson. You know what I'm saying? She outpointed Jillian Robertson, forced Robertson to stay on the feet. Was big in there with Robertson. You know what I'm saying? And didn't allow Robertson to get her game plan off. That was a good, solid win for JJ Aldrich. You know what I'm saying? And then she lost to Ariane Lipsky, and then she bounces back. She comes back and she finishes Liang Na. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that, her best win at flyweight is probably Jillian Robertson. You know what I'm saying? And that's a solid win. But JJ Aldrich is much better than she goes out there and fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, JJ Aldrich, to me, is very well-rounded. She just doesn't pull the trigger hard enough. She doesn't pull the trigger and go after, like, she hurt Macy Barber and didn't go after Macy. She allowed Macy to get back into the fight and ended up getting finished. You know what I'm saying? And JJ, in this fight with Liang Na, what did we see? We saw an urgent JJ. We saw a JJ fighting with purpose out there. We saw a JJ who was willing to, mix it up and take somewhat of a risk to take Liang Na down, because Liang Na is known for her ground game. You know what I'm saying? They were, while this fight was happening, they were talking about, Liang Na being the best wrestler from China or whatever country, Japan, or wherever she came from. No disrespect to Liang Na's, country of origin, but I can't quite remember where she's from. You know what I'm saying? So, they were talking about how good her ground game was, but JJ went in there and was a veteran. You know what I'm saying? JJ Aldrich went in there and acted like a damn veteran against Liang Na. You know what I'm saying? So, it's good to see JJ get back in the win column with a finish. You know what I'm saying? She's got some momentum coming off of her first UFC finish. And let's see, if JJ can stay on this trajectory and string some wins together, you know what I'm saying? Like, JJ Aldrich, because at one point she was on a nice little streak at flyweight. But if JJ can get back on another nice streak, people will start to take JJ Aldrich seriously because the name is familiar. We've seen JJ fight. We've seen JJ win fights. You know what I'm saying? But, everybody always wants Aldrich to do good, but it seems like sometimes she comes up short. But it's good to see JJ Aldrich making some improvements this deep into her game, and not just being complacent as to where she's at and doing the same thing over and over and losing. So interested to see what's next from JJ Aldrich. Next up is my girl, Ariane Lipski. Okay, let's talk about Lipski for a second. Lipski is an interesting character because she came in, you know what I'm saying, into the UFC and was under a lot of hype, you know what I'm saying, coming off that KSW scene. You know what I'm saying? She was huge. She was destroying girls over there, you know what I'm saying? And you know, came into the UFC and struggled and struggled hard. But one thing about Ariane Lipski is she did not ever stop trying to. She never shied away from fights. She always took fights and she always came in and fought hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Ariane Lipski got that huge submission win over Luana Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Which I think Luana was robbed in that fight. You know, and she took risky fight. Like, she took fights with people who were just coming into the UFC, like Mandy Baum. You know what I'm saying? Like, before we've seen Mandy Baum fight, you know, coming in undefeated, we were like, okay, you know, let's see if this girl can get past Air. You know, let's see if Ariane Lipski can stop this undefeated fighter. And what did Lipski do? You know what I'm saying? She beat Mandy over the course of 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, she loses some, you know, she gets momentum and then she loses it. You know what I'm saying? Got in there with a big and physical Montana De La Rosa, you know what I'm saying? And lost that fight, didn't pull the trigger enough, allowed Montana to dictate that fight. You know what I'm saying? Allowed Montana to dictate the striking of the fight, which is, I think, that's what was the biggest detriment for Ariane Lipski in that fight. Because if you allow Montana to get comfortable, then that's when she can sneak those takedowns and stuff in behind the strikes. You know, and that, you know, and that's a tactic that Montana should use more often. You know what I'm saying? Play with, you know, use those long strikes. You know, that game plan worked very well against Ariane Lipski. Use them long strikes to set up those takedowns, to hide those takedowns. You know what I'm saying? She can make people fall victim to that. And Ariane Lipski fell victim to just that in that fight. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, she's back and she beat JJ Aldrich. That was a good, solid win for Ariane Lipski. And then on top of that, after beating JJ Aldrich, which that was a good win, she goes out there and beats Melissa Gatto. So she's actually put herself together a nice 2-fight little streak here, and that's good. I'm happy for Lipski because it shows that her move to American Top Team, her working with Amanda Nunes, whatever, all that stuff is actually starting to come together for Ariane Lipski. Girls would come into a fight with Ariane Lipski knowing that if they took her down, you know, seeing that Molly McCann was able to take her down and that other fighters have been able to take her down. Montana was able to take her down. You know what I'm saying? Like, people come into fights like, you know, knowing that I can get this fighter to the ground. Mandy Baum was not able to get her to the ground. You know what I'm saying? So that showed that the takedown defense was there because Mandy Baum tried to get Ariane Lipski to the ground multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So, and even in the Montana fight, you know what I'm saying, they were praising how hard it was for Montana, you know, on those first couple takedown attempts, how hard it was for Montana to get Ariane Lipski down. It wasn't, you know, the first couple tries, it wasn't easy for Montana to get her down. Ariane Lipski's takedown defense, even in that fight, showed to be better. You know what I'm saying? And now we're seeing a confident, even after the brutal loss to Priscilla Castueda, now we're seeing a more confident Lipski. We're seeing an imposing Lipski. We're seeing a pressuring Lipski. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing nice strikes from Lipski, hard punches from Lipski, and, you know, her ability to stop takedowns and to get takedowns of her own. You know, and to be honest, Ariane Lipski has good top control. You know what I'm saying? When she's comfortable being on top position in somebody's guard, it's when Lipski's on her back that she, you know, she's in trouble. But, you know, still, Ariane Lipski in these last couple of fights have made some good improvements. She was dominant over JJ Aldrich, was able to outpoint JJ Aldrich. So we know Lipski's a solid striker. You know what I'm saying? And then Melissa Gatto, she just beat up Melissa Gatto. You know what I'm saying? She definitely outpointed Melissa Gatto in that fight. You know, and just have looked good over her last 2 fights. So I'm excited to see what we get next from Ariane Lipski because she is in my new triple threat. Next up, I got Miranda Maverick. Oh my gosh, guys. Y'all already know I've been begging to see more from Miranda Maverick. I know it's there with Miranda. Look at her. I mean, just look at her look at her physical stature. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a big fighter. And I know that there was something better in there from um from Miranda Maverick than what we had been seeing. You know what I'm saying? I knew that there were harder punches in there. I knew that there was better speed in there. I knew that there was better fight IQ in there. I knew that it was inside of her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited, her man. That win over Priscilla Cachoeira, Miranda Maverick was out there throwing hard punches. She was out there coming forward, wasn't afraid to stand and trade with Priscilla Cachoeira, which showed so much confidence in her striking. And that made me feel good because I want to like Miranda Maverick. I want to be invested in her. Like, I want her to make me excited to see her fight. Now I'm excited to see what Miranda Maverick does. You know what I'm saying? The assertiveness that she showed in that fight with Priscilla Cachoeira and got the finish, like, I was impressed because Miranda Maverick is capable of that. She met fire with fire in there with Priscilla Cachoeira. Hard punches, hitting Priscilla with hard punches, backing up Priscilla Cachoeira. You know what I'm saying? And those are the type of improvements. You know, with these three fighters, you know, these are the type of improvements that can get them caught back up with these girls that have come into the division and move past them. You know what I'm saying? The Karine Silva, Natalia Silva, Aaron Blanchfield, Manon Fiore, Casey O'Neill, they've all moved past these girls. Even Jasmine Jasdavizius, they've moved past these girls because they've either beat these girls or they've been more consistent and put on better performances than these girls. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and in some cases, a combination of both. You know what I'm saying? So they've come in and kind of, you know, and taken that spot because Miranda Maverick and Lipsky and Montana De La Rosa and Melissa Gatto and you know, they weren't making that kind of a splash that Aaron Blanchfield and Casey O'Neill and them came in making. You know, Manon Fiore, they came in and made a splash. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the flame was down with these fighters because they weren't pulling that trigger like they should have, JJ Aldrich included. You know what I'm saying? But now we see these fighters pulling that trigger, and we see these fighters going out there and getting either solid wins or, in Miranda Maverick and JJ Aldrich's case, finishes. So I'm excited to see what's next from these fighters, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. This is your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. Drop those comments in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that dislike, and if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And your boy is out.